Good afternoon, it is Emma here, and we are on Wednesday at 1 p.m. and we are on Best Studio Live. How are you all today? How are you? Look, I've had a great morning. I went to 2 coffee morning meetups, and you can see from the description on my live the type of conversations that we started to have. Now, one was a business sort of meetup type thing, who's actually turned into a heap of friends. I've been going there a couple of years. And the other one was more of a social meetup as well. But the themes were always the same. So if we're heading towards the end of 2019 now. I mean, what are we now? We're October. And we're coming towards mid-October, actually. And because of that, you know, it's really starting to beg the question, especially what do we, you know, we're kind of wrapping up for the end of the year. And when you're wrapping up for the end of the year, people start talking and saying, you know, what are you doing? Are you making plans? You know, what's your plan of attack for the end of the year? How's your year been? That sort of thing. So, especially in the last coffee meetup, we really did have a big, long discussion. Like, it's not just end of the year, right? It's end of a decade. End of a decade. And so we're kind of finishing off a big number 10, well, number 20 actually. 20 years we've been in the millennium, which is an amazing amount of time. And so it's kind of not just a case of finishing up, you know, sort of 1 year, we're finishing up the decade, and what's the plans for when you move into the new decade? And especially the conversation we were having was, now is a really good time for the next sort of 2.5 months to work out, if you like, to do a bit of groundwork on what you want to take in to the next year with you. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean you've got to, you know, sort of clean out everything that's not working for you, but it's definitely worth having a think about what it is that you want for next year, and what, you know, it's really sitting down and thinking to yourself, oh, hey, Pam's here. Sorry, hey, Pam, I wonder if you caught at the start. We're just really talking a little bit about, I'll see if I can get you to come on, actually. Hang on a sec, add. So just talking about really what we want to sort of, you know, bring into the next year, and really thinking about, you know, what worked for you, and you know, what, it's not just about setting new goals. Sometimes it's about releasing old stuff, and where you want to go really next year. So I've been thinking about it. So even as I'm talking to you, it's starting to really sort of, the clogs are starting to whirl in the old head, and I'm trying to work out, you know, sort of what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So saw things that actually work for me. For me, oh, hey, Pam,
Hi, darling, how are you?
Did you catch anything
I
I've been
did.
talking
I
about?
did. I'm not interrupting. I'm listening. I'll join in as we go along. What are we taking into the
Yeah.
next year?
Yes, exactly. Just say hello to Buster.
Hello,
I've got a little
Buster.
Buster. So really, I was just trying to, and like, I literally haven't given this a massive amount of like contemplation that I intend to actually do, but just initially, even like starting the conversation, there were certain things that I've really enjoyed and I want to sort of do more of, if you like, next year. And it was really spending, you know, quality time, my time off. Having time, when I've got a bit of time off, is actually spending quality time with people that I love. That was a big one that I wanted to, yeah, and I think next year and next decade, I'm definitely going to be moving a bit. I've really sort of embraced over the last forward. It's really easy to get caught up in work constantly, goals, and nothing wrong with that. However, it's really good to take that time to kind of just, you know, be around the people that you love and enjoy your day. I'm going to get out into nature more. And when I say I'm setting these are intentions, remember, Pammy, we do intentions, we don't do
Intense,
goals as
honey.
such. So I'm thinking mind. I guess a little bit can be, sometimes I think it's easy to excessively worry about stuff and always be sort of in the position where you're constantly, things are going over and over and over in your head. So I might leave that one in 2000 in this decade and not take that one into next decade with me. So I don't know. I'm going to kind of throw you on the spot now. I don't know if there's anything there that you can think of, that things that you want to take into 2020 big year.
All right, so reception's a little bit wonky, so let's see how we go. I hope you can hear me. I think a big thing that came up for me this morning is it's time management and understanding that there's not going to be 100% balance in everything. A recent event that I was at said that this whole notion of everything should be balanced. Well, if you're on a seesaw and it's completely balanced, who's having fun, right? There's going to be a bit of give and take, and you're going to have your ups and downs. And I think that what makes the playground so much more exciting is you being focused when you're in that work environment, giving it all, and when you're then with your family, giving it all. It's really about a presence, and the next decade is really honoring and gifting myself the presence, and not having that, as the mum, you're like, oh, I'm always at work, I'm not giving enough to my family, or I'm with my family, I should be working, I should, all the shoulds and woulds and coulds that is in that aspect, and my intent is to leave a lot of that behind. Thank you very much. I see now how ineffective that is, and honoring that, when I'm working, and when I'm with my family, I'm with my family, when I'm with my friends, being present with them 100%, and giving myself that leeway, I guess, giving myself a break. I think that's the big thing. We're so crash hard on riding ourselves that we forget to give ourselves a bit of a break and just accept and honor where we're at. Now, with that too, I on my run, because my time management was iffy this morning, so I did squeeze it in this afternoon, and went, dream board. Now is a good time for us to do that dream board and set in motion what we're planning on doing for next year. What do we want to achieve, and where we're going? So watch this space, launching dream board.
You're good.
Ooh, that's a big one. Anyways, I do like a good helicopter. With that, so looking at that dream board and getting, setting those intentions and getting the momentum into 2020, and not waiting for it to, on the first, suddenly we're going to switch this on. We can start now. We can start that at being present and honoring ourselves right now, and seeing where we're going, where we want to move towards. It's very busy
and it's like
today. Sorry if I'm.
Oh, sorry. It's such a good time to tie up loose ends as well, isn't it, really, towards the end of the year? I think most people, especially here in Australia, we're like, we're moving into summer, and even in winter, actually, in the northern hemisphere, when you've got the winter, it can sometimes, sort of over December, it can be kind of a slower month, because especially where we've got the humidity and everything's slowing down, because you just can't seem to move, and in the cold maybe you don't move as fast, because again, you're feeling cold, you've got that more extreme weather. And so it's just by tying things up and getting sort of all the jobs and bits and pieces that you want to do, and let's get that done, so when you start that new fresh year, you've got a whole different look, and you're not taking in the stuff that you don't particularly want to take in.
Yes.
I mean, that might not work for everybody.
No, but I think we've had a very consistent theme this year, in decluttering and letting go and releasing, and I think a few times we've had these, where we're cleaning out this and we're cleaning out that, and I think this is the good time to let that all go. It's been a big year for a lot of people, and we have to remember, we've all grown, and with information and technology as it is, we've have access to so much more, that everyone is really trying to find their space and really step into it and own that, and I think it's beautiful. But it is, again, being that really hard on ourselves and where we should be and could have been. I think it's remembering that it's been a journey and it's been an evolution, and we're releasing and we're claiming new things, and it's taking those good things that we have had, these experiences, these lessons, into the new year, with gutso and going, yeah, you know what? I'm not where I was at the beginning of 2019. I'm now stepping in to the end of 2019 and moving into 2020 with so much more information and knowledge and understanding and the growth that comes with that we don't have to always fall back to those protective personality self moments. We now can recognize them, and it's now really stepping into that being, that soulful being on this earth, and embracing the opportunities that come to us, creating that momentum that moves for it. And whether it's
You know,
summer or winter, I think, it's the perfect time for anything. Why wait?
yeah.
My whole thing is, why wait? I have the new attitude. Why wait? Today is the perfect time to do it. So do it today. Do it today. Jump in.
Up DM, isn't it? I'm sure that is.
Yeah.
So,
Carpe diem, seize the moment. Yeah, that was my
yeah.
school thing. One of my schools I went to had that.
Well, look, and as you were talking there, it just really reminded me of that blog you wrote about I drive my own bus. Do you remember that one? You wrote
Yes,
a
yes,
little
yes.
blog. Well, it was actually quite a big blog. Yeah, you wrote that piece of writing about driving your own bus, and the fact that you sit in the driver's seat, and that's a little bit like sort of what we're talking about today. It's
Hmm.
about sort of you taking charge of your life, and it's an intent. I love that word where we, sort of, I think it was Dr. Tom Morley that I first heard it through, like, we don't have a to-do list, we have an intention list, because then you get up and it takes the energy from have to into, this is what I would like to happen, or, and if it happens, then that's great, that feel-good factor that goes with, getting through chores. And I like the word intent as well, sort of making that, when you move into that next space, I've done a load of decluttering as well.
Hmm.
Even again, it was sort of moving and sweeping out the old leaves with, and now when I move forward, I'm going to move forward purposely and with intent. And the intent is going to be surrounding about things that resonate with me, and try not to push decisions that, even though, based on old belief systems, that sort of stuff, really
Hmm.
interesting. It's really, it was a great coffee morning. Had a great coffee morning. 2 coffees this.
Excellent. That's always good. I think that's what it is. You have hit the nail on the head there. It's that intent, but it's creating that flow. It's that resistance that we have to make decisions, but to not force decisions either. I think it's really about stepping into the flow of things. And as much as we are the drivers of our bus, we create everything that's in our life. But if you're going to be hitting your head on the wall the whole time to do that, well, take stock of what it is you're trying to achieve. Are you actually going in the right direction? And who is taking control? Are you allowing the process, or are you forcing the process? And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
2019 almost done. Tick tick. But
it
listen,
is good. I just want.
I'm going to get cut out. So
Oh, well,
I'm going to take it. Yes, like I say, time management this morning was not crash hard, and I've been on the phone all day. So my battery's about to die. So I'm going to love and leave you.
to when you can. If your battery goes, then or you need to go, then go. I just want to say this though. And this probably is just to people, like, because obviously we're talking about setting intentions and how exciting that is and all this, and then obviously it's always going to throw up the question of people who this time last year had that same feeling, and then things didn't pan out the way they wanted.
Hmm.
And I just really want to address that, that everything let's go back to that. And what reminded me was when you were just talking about the flow, everything is fluid. Things that we thought might suit us a year ago and haven't panned out might not necessarily be a bad thing. Maybe they haven't panned out for the right reasons. Maybe there was something you needed to know before, in order for you to, or there were some lessons that you needed to address, or there could be a whole heap of reasons of why something didn't work out for you. You know, okay too. If you want to sit down and kind of work out why it didn't particularly pan out. Don't just automatically give yourself a
Yeah,
I
no,
just want to throw that up, because it is sometimes, like you said at the beginning, we can we can be really tough on ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I can't add to that. That's perfectly said. You know what it is too? Sometimes we do have, we see a direction that we're going in. It doesn't mean that it's the wrong direction. Maybe it's just more tools that you need, or maybe you just need to take stock of where you're at. And a lot of times we think it didn't work out because we weren't good enough. But was our
Yeah,
why there? Were you focused on your why? And were you really willing to give yourself a go? Did you allow fear to kick in? Yes, maybe you're not where you are today because you did have that underwriting fear of ego. And ego is a good thing. Ego drives us. I'm not saying let's crash ego completely. Ego does serve its purpose because, ego is what gives us that stamina sometimes. But did we allow the fear to knock us off course? So reevaluate your goals, see where you're at, and see if your heart still lies there. And if it does, then look at where things went awry and then just pick up the pieces from there. Let's not give
yeah,
up on stuff. Let's just embrace it
yeah.
in a new way, enthusiastically. With gutso. Gutso is my word today. Everything's with gutso.
That's all good. You're outdoors. Life is good. Look, and also if things didn't work out, you can sit down and you can write down maybe, we can apply a bit of logic to it.
Yeah.
Write down some why it didn't get there. It could be, oh, I couldn't afford it, or there was not enough time. It could be these sort of, and these are quite often we think are excuses. However, this goes back to a live again I did ages ago. I think it might have even been my first ever Facebook Live with Best Studio. When you turn like your excuses into, if you like, a to-do list. It's like, well, maybe there wasn't enough money for that. Well, maybe I need to set a budget. Maybe there wasn't
Yep.
enough. Maybe I can address that. What it ends up doing is you don't realize, but when you're throwing these excuses up of why something happens, and I use the word excuses very, very lightly, when you go through the reasoning on why something didn't happen, quite often it's just stuff that needs addressing. And you know what? If you approach it with a solution base rather than a problem base, you just reframe it, then suddenly, it all becomes again a little bit more manageable. So that's also another good thing.
I love
You
you.
didn't.
I love you. I love you. Solutions, baby. There's solutions for everything. If you're going to focus
Yeah,
on the problem, it's going to be the problem. Solutions for everything. I think it comes down to desire, though. You'll find a solution for anything that you want if the desire is there. If the true desire is there. If it's not, then yes, we're going to fall back onto, what we deem as the excuses, the obstacles,
yeah.
the problems.
Also, when you say desire, it's got to resonate.
Yeah, the
Even though
truthfully from your heart, not just a wishy-washy, whimsical thing. Although sometimes that's fun.
you know, point in sort of pushing forward into 2020 for me to say like, well, I'm going to be like, a computer analyst. I mean, I'm just never going to be that. I haven't got that attention to detail, and because it doesn't resonate with me,
No.
and when you're sort of thinking along all the things, that resonates a really good way of sitting there and assessing what you want to take with you or what you want to declutter. Is it resonating? Is this who I am? Is this who I am today? Rather than, it might have been me 5 years ago. Well, I'm not that same person. I've evolved.
No.
And so it's a little bit, when you start getting into that sort of inner work, you really start looking and understanding and accepting who you are today. It's a good thing, It's good.
Yeah,
It's all good
good.
stuff.
Look at that. Hey, I think a big thing is 2020. What I'd like to take in is all those things I hesitated with, is to with a leap of faith, embrace those things with a leap of faith,
I
and
love
be
it.
open to experiences, to the newness of it, the new opportunities, and make room for that.
Sounds amazing. I'm
Yeah,
loving it.
I like
We're
that.
gonna have to do our dream boards. It's gonna
Yeah,
have
all
to
right,
be
let's
done.
work on that. Let's work on that. But hey, I'm going to go before you just rudely go. I'd like to gracefully exit this live and I'll let you finish it off and I will speak to you soon. Love
All
to you
right.
all.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for watching. Really, 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 really do appreciate everyone that's jumped on board. Thank you for sharing with us. We'd like to hear what you're going to do going into 2020. What are you taking with you? What are you leaving behind? And yeah, well, mine is embracing leap of faith. Let's do it with Gutso. Gutso,
That sounds
baby.
okay. Well, just as a very quick reminder, if you need to hop off, Pam, then you can. On Wednesday, we have our meetup, our fortnightly meetup at Mooloolaba Beach, 11 a.m. We will be meeting. It's just down by the playground area there. There's the barbecues down that area. There's coffee shops. They're all over Mooloolaba. Mooloolaba is stunning.
I know.
I don't know why I don't get more often. And we just literally put down a rug. You just wander down, bring yourself, some friends. And yeah, we're just, somewhere to chat, connect, and, just get some fresh air and some beautiful company. That's what we're all about. I'll pop the events on. I'll just pop the event into this, into the comments as well.
Also,
so that people
good reminder, the other event, 2nd of November, breathe into your best life, 2 degrees at a time. Join myself and Monique. If you're interested, the event is there. I'll pop that link in as well to share that.
Oh, I know. I mean, you must be so excited for that workshop.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. All right,
so
darling. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
and we'll catch you all next week.